Whether you're married or single or poly or ace, or hanging out with swingers back at your place, listen to us as we give no fuck on Tinder and Bumble and plenty of yucks, trying and having no luck, because we all know dating kinda sucks. Sarah and Adam are two of a kind. He says stupid shit and she doesn't mind. They're not doing this show to make any buck. Life as a chicken whose feathers they pluck. Why does it work? Well, here is the crux. They both know dating kinda sucks. Dating kinda sucks.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Adam Heath Avitable.
This is Dating Kinda Sucks, a podcast about dating, sex, and relationships. This week, we'll be talking about hair and hygiene when it comes to sex. Enjoy the show.
Hair and hygiene.
Hair and hygiene.
So it's been a couple of weeks.
Yeah. It has.
Yeah, I know. And everybody's hairier. I feel like this is a really good topic for this episode.
Everyone's personal hygiene just has gone down because of this. So what topic can we talk about now?
I've actually been shaving my head more now than I did before all of this. Like, because I would go to the bar. I always had a barber appointment every 2 weeks. So if I went a week without shaving my head, I would like, oh, well, she'll just shave it for me as part of like the barber appointment. And so then it'll just be, it's nice and relaxing because they do like the hot towel on your head and then they, lather it and shave it and put lotion on it. It's all nice. So it's a nice little pampering thing. But now that I'm here, I don't want to let my hair grow out. So I have been shaving every 2 days. I shave my head. So I think I've been,
really?
Yeah. Now my beard has gone crazy. As you can tell, you can see it if you're watching this on video, obviously, that my beard is just insane right now. And I dyed it blue and now it looks like cotton candy blue because it washed out so fast. But yeah.
Well,
so
is it because you've been in the pool a lot lately too?
Possibly. Yeah, I think that could be it. And I mean, I shower every day and I wash my beard every day. It's not like hair, like girls' hair in your head that you can. Yeah, I actually have to wash it. So I have like a color safe shampoo that I use, but I don't know if it works well enough. I'm gonna have to re-dye it. But anyways, yeah, no, I'm exhausted today. We're recording this Sunday night? What is this, May?
Sunday, yeah. Today's the 24th. Yeah, the day before Memorial Day.
24th. Oh yeah. Yeah, the last 2 days I've been in the pool with a couple of girls, just coming over and just chilling and hanging out and just listening to music and floating in the pool and getting sun. And it's just exhausting being that lazy. Like it has been fucking exhausting. Like I literally today from like noon until 5 p.m. I did nothing but float in a pool, and I got out and I'm like, I'm exhausted. Like it's time for bed. Like I haven't done shit all day. So I don't know. It's terrible.
I feel you. I've been in the sun all day today too, and I do not want to do that.
I
just want to go back to sleep.
I know. I was half hoping that you were going to be like, can we do this tomorrow morning? And I would be like, yes.
Oh, but, really?
We're better because we need to do it today so that we can edit everything tomorrow and put it all up. That's the downfall of being, when you're not a solo operation, but a duo operation is between the two of you got to do all the work. We can't put it off on anybody else. But yeah. So
that's all you've been up to? Just your beard and pool.
The beard and the pool, and I had a couple models over for photo shoots, which has been fun. That's kind of picked up a little bit, and that's been nice just to get that creativity flowing. So I've been enjoying that, and really, that's it. I've been on the apps a little bit, chatted with a couple people, made a couple friends, mostly.
Promoted the podcast.
Promoted the podcast, absolutely. Now I've got 2 that I'm promoting, 2 podcasts, and I'm like, hey, if you like dating, try this one. If you like murder, try this one. So now I'm like even like pushing both, and like that's all I'm using dating apps for. I don't want to go out. Like I did do this. And a shout out to Deanna. I went out with an ex, and she and I went out to Ale House for the first time. So Ale House is open. The bar is not open.
Always repping Ale House.
I know, but they are open for booths and everything, so you can sit down at a table. And so I went over there for lunch last week with her, and we used to go all the time. And so we decided to go in the booth where our bartender friend was serving, and just hung out for like 2 hours and had a couple drinks and had lunch and everything, and it was nice. It was like we were some of the only people in the restaurant, so it was no big deal. But I wouldn't want to go if it was packed. Like if I went in there and it was packed, I'd be like, nope, I'm not going. So that's been my only experience out in public in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I walk down Broadway in Nashville occasionally, and ever since they've allowed a couple. Well, I guess they've allowed a couple bars to open, and a mass amount of people were there. And seeing any more than probably 5 people, I just turned the fuck around. Nope,
Right.
not walking on Broadway. Going back home.
What is it with Nashville and banana peels? Like, I swear to God, like even in the middle when there's nobody out because everything's shut down, you still manage to find banana peels on the ground.
I find banana peels and trash on the ground all the time.
Well, trash on the ground, like I see happening everywhere. Like, but like the fact that they're specifically banana peels is so weird to me.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't understand. Is there like
Yeah.
a rogue monkey that lives in Nashville that just
leaves banana peels throughout the city? I don't know. And it's not like I walk in the same places every time I take a daily walk either. I try to mix it up, and I still manage to find them. Doesn't matter. It's not like it's the same spot. I really don't know. I don't have an answer for you.
So fucking odd. But yeah, so yeah, nothing's happened in my life in the last couple of weeks, and we'll see in the next few weeks what happens. But I don't really see much. I've been fine with having no interaction with humanity other than the occasional, like I said, occasional photo shoot, occasional pool day, and that's it. Like, I'm good with that. Like, I want everybody to leave me the fuck alone so I can just go like crawl into my bed by myself and be done. Like, that's basically it. I'm ready for humanity just to die out. I feel like I'm at that point in my life right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm ready for the apocalypse. I'm ready. It's here. Bring it on. I got like 12 pounds of bacon in my freezer. I'm fine, you know?
You're prepared. Yeah, for literally anything.
So that's all my news. And so I think that it's going to be all about you this episode. Well, maybe at least this first half, you know?
I think it's only because I've been dating someone throughout this whole quarantine thing, and you haven't, because of it, you just haven't been able to go out on dates.
That is true. Who would have thought that between the two of us, you would have been the one having someone over and actually like
I know
breaking all the rules and everything, and I'd be the one be like, oh no, I'm okay, I don't want to meet with anybody. I never would have thought that. But yeah, you've been dating Master of None for a little while now.
Well, yeah, I think we had our first virtual date like mid-April, so it's been, I think this might be a record of how long I've actually dated someone since living in Nashville, to be completely honest.
Yeah,
normally after 2 or 3 weeks it dies.
All you needed was like a centennial global pandemic to actually make something happen. That's impressive.
Wow.
And I know that you have some actually big news for this episode. And before we get into it, I know you can always build up to it with your own way of doing it and everything. But before you do, I think I'm just going to spoil it. And I want to say that
you're going to share my big news.
I'm going to spoil your news. I'm going to spoil your news because I have something that I want to share with you, and so I have to share with you before you to get into the news.
What is it?
Well, I want to first of all give a big shout out to his name's Luke, but his stage name is Crafty McVillain, and he's the one that took the lyrics and the terrible tune that I hummed and turned it into the Dating Kinda Sucks theme song that everybody loves. And so I talked to him and I asked him to make something very special for you that I'm going to share with you and the audience right now. So hold on. Let's see if I can get this to play for everybody. Let's see.
Somebody got laid. It's Sarah. She got that dick. She wrote it quick. That golden dick. Yo, get it, chick. Sarah got laid.
Oh, it's
I was gonna say I can't hear it.
You can't hear it?
Whatever you did, it like stopped.
That's okay. You heard it though.
I heard it. Yes.
You heard it. If everybody else gets to hear it, obviously, because we're gonna put in a better quality version for everybody to listen to.
True.
Should we cut that part out and just redo that part?
No. I mean, I can edit it. So, I mean, hello YouTube. I can edit it so the whole song's in there, I guess.
Yeah, I mean it's an MP3, so you can just put it in.
I'll just cut it. Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to play it again for yourself so you can actually listen to it and then
just so I can have like a reaction to the whole thing, because I was gonna have like our audio clips like there too of whatever. Okay.
Well, why don't you play it for yourself? Because I don't know how to play it so that you can hear it.
Oh, okay, hang on. You'll probably hear it from here.
Somebody got laid. It's Sarah. She got that dick. She wrote it quick. That golden dick. Yo, get it, chick. Sarah.
Wait. That golden dick?
That golden dick.
Wait, she wrote it. She got that dick, that golden dick. She wrote it quick.
She wrote it quick. Go get it, chick. Sarah got laid. Yep. So I want to thank Crafty McVillain for making our new.
Lyric.
I know. Are these? I know. I'm such a brilliant lyricist. I really am. I really I should be writing regular normal rap songs. But this will be our new clip that we can play whenever Sarah gets laid.
Whenever I get laid, hopefully that's more often now. Jeez.
Somebody got laid.
It's me.
It's me. But anyway, so I had to commission Crafty McVillain to make this little song to commemorate the first time of you actually having real sexual intercourse, like actual genuine good penetrative sex, P and V sex in a long time.
Honestly, yeah. I think
a long time. We're not going to count what happened with the gentleman because that was things didn't work out.
Stuff with the gentleman. Yes, we had sex, but it was in and then it was out. It was in for maybe 2 seconds and then it just stopped.
Yeah,
so
that would only count in anal. So that doesn't actually count. So yeah, you actually when was the time before
Las
that?
Vegas.
Las Vegas. Holy shit.
Vegas. Yeah.
Which was December of 2000.
That was like August of 2018. Oh my
August 2018.
Oh my god. Yeah.
That's why we need a song. So
somebody got laid. Yep.
That's right. So anyway, there we go. Let's play the song one more time, please. I was about to clap for myself and you, and I wanted to just put some applause in there. Let's go ahead and let's just play this one more time, just to enjoy it.
Okay.
Somebody got laid. It's Sarah. She got that dick. She wrote it quick. That golden dick. Yo, get it, chick. Sarah.
Oh God, that was that made my whole day that he made this and sent it over, and just in time too. It's funny. I was telling him, I was like, "Hey, listen, I know you were I told you don't really rush this, but I think she's about to get laid, so I need this for the next episode."
Giving me updates that he's coming over and they're probably gonna fuck. So I need this done.
She's been saying for a month now, "Yeah, I'm gonna fuck him," and she keeps saying "Nah, it didn't happen," blah blah. And I was like, "It's gonna happen one of these times, and I think it's about to happen, so I need it by Sunday." And he delivered. And thank you, Crafty McVillain.
Oh, okay. How do I top that news and the theme song to just be like, okay, so I got that dick and
write it quick.
Moving on. I mean, I think it was pretty summed up there. That 30-second song. So
I mean, it did kind of. So okay. So he came over recently.
Yeah. So it's been 2 weeks. He's been coming over probably once during the week, and then every Saturday he comes over. So during the week, normally he'll come over for just maybe 2 hours max, and then he'll go home. But Saturday it's 4 or 5 hour time frame, just because he can stay over longer. Because we already talked about his parents and everything.
Right. Because he has to be home.
He has to be home at a certain time because they're really strict about coronavirus. So he came over last Saturday, and I think last Saturday, actually, I was ready to get that dick, to be completely honest. And then I forget why it didn't happen. I just don't remember why it didn't happen, to be honest. But this is going to sound so fucking dumb to you, Adam. You're already going to be like, what the fuck, Sarah? He is so fucking good at eating me out. No lie. Just probably, to be honest, the best I've ever had. And my dumbass, I have probably a top 3 of orgasms I've ever had type deal, just in my head of just thinking,
Right.
oh God, like that one person, you know, that
Sure.
was the best or whatever. And last Saturday, swear to God, that just top to number one. Like I was like,
Damn.
this is fucking bomb. And I told him that too, and he was like, I mean, it looked like you were enjoying yourself. I was like, that was probably the most intense, like best orgasm I've had.
I
And
think
since
what you said too was that I feel like you said you got oral and then basically you were like done. You didn't want.
I mean, I was just
Yeah.
out, legs shaking, could not out for commission. Like I was just done.
Yeah.
But and it's actually it's not funny, but since the first experience I had with him using the restraints on my bed and just some more BDSM stuff, we haven't really done that in a while. Like he's come over and we've just gone back to just not using those things, which is fine. I mean, I kind of say like, you know, do you want to? And he's like, yeah, sure, if you want.
But it's a lot more prep work, isn't it? Like it feels like
I
it's
think
just
so too,
yeah.
yeah.
So it's
I
like something
think
you got to plan for and everything.
and like mentally prepare. Okay, well, we're gonna do this and whatever.
like anal.
Yeah. Yes. So we haven't really done much in the BDSM realm, but so last Saturday was that, and I wanted to have sex with him, but then I don't know, I just kept stopping myself, and then he ate me out, and I was pretty much done from there. But then yesterday he came over, and mentally I think I had prepared even more for, okay, he's gonna come over, and I think I'm finally ready. And you and I have talked about this, and you're like, well, it's just sex, or like you've already been really intimate with him. That
I don't think I said it was just sex.
okay, but like that's how I interpreted it. Like it's just you've already
been really intimate with him. Like, is this going to make such a huge difference? Is how I described it. Not, you know,
Yeah.
so.
But then I interpreted it as like, okay, it's just sex. But I guess that's what I tell myself is it's just sex, Sarah. Like,
right.
Because I build it up a lot more in my head. I've just put it on a fucking pedestal, and everybody knows it, and that's just how it is. But so that's probably why last Saturday I couldn't, because I was gonna get there, and I was like, he literally was about to pull out a condom, and I was like, yeah, like get the condom, let's have sex. And then he was reaching for the condom, and in 2 seconds I was like, wait, no, let's not. Like I just immediately freaked out. I was like, I can't do it. Which is, and he was like, that's fine. Like, I don't want to pressure you or whatever. And then yesterday it was like, no, like I definitely want to fuck.
I think I even offered to text him and say, listen, dude, just throw her in the bed and fuck her. Like she just wants to get fucked. I promise. Just throw her in the bed and fuck.
Yeah. Just like, she wants to be a little aggressive. I won't say it. Which is, he's not ever going to do that.
I know. He's way too, which is good. That's a good thing. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was like, no, I don't want him to do that.
If some random person ever texts you and says, hey, just throw your girl in the bed and fuck her, don't do that. Okay. I'm just saying that's bad advice. Don't ever do that. But
terrible advice. Thanks, Adam.
Yeah.
But I guess I should talk about our dynamic. I talk a lot on here about, well, I sucked his dick and like that was it, and he went down on me and whatever. And I haven't actually given him a lot of head. He's not a big fan of it. I've been giving a lot more hand jobs, which I really think I suck at. So I'm getting better with my wrist.
Every other person in the world, so I wouldn't really feel bad.
I just don't think you can give a good hand job. That's just
there's no
my
such thing.
Yeah. And then I just always feel I just always feel like I hurt the guy because just like my hand's probably too dry or I'm going too hard or whatever, and I always feel like I'm gonna hurt him. And then you said, well, every guy's really hard on their dick, so I don't think that you're gonna... I mean,
like we pull it, we smack it against doorknobs, we like we'll do all types of shit, like we'll close it between the drawers, like, so there's no problem. Just to get some sensation and it just has some feeling, who knows. There's all types of things, but no, we'll do all types of shit to it, and you're not going to be rougher on it. And like, if the only way is if someone, he'll tell you, like, if it hurts, listen, if a girl is hurting our dick, we are going to let her know. Like, nobody's going to grin and bear it and be like, oh, this will be fine. Like, we will absolutely make sure that you are aware that our dick is in pain and that we are not violent people, but are 1 second away from punching you in the fucking face because our dick is in pain. Like that, like it's one of those things. Like,
have you been in that?
I have been there where you're just like, oh God, stop. Because just like our reflex is about to just be like, we have to protect the dick, and so you're just about to just like bop somebody on top of the head and knock them out just so they don't hurt your dick anymore. So yeah, they will tell you, like, it's just going to be an instinctual thing, so you don't have to worry about it.
Oh, well, okay, good to know. I don't think I've hurt his dick from my terrible hand jobs. If anything, we use more lube. It's just a dry hand job just never sounds like a good plan. And I guess that's been making me feel somewhat guilty before we had sex. Was he would go down on me and I would have these bomb ass orgasms, and then my one thing is I've gotten pretty decent at giving a blowjob, and now I'm like, great, I have to give a hand job. Oh God, I got insecure of I'm really not that great at these, and I don't know if I can pleasure him as well as he just pleasured me because I'm just not good at this. So I got a little insecure about that, but
sure.
I mean, everybody's coming, so I think that something's
coming.
Working. Something's working.
That'll be the next song.
Everybody's coming. Great. Another song. So yeah. Let's see what else.
How do you feel? No. Here's what I want to ask, and I'm asking on behalf of listeners who I know, or this is a burning question for them. How do you feel about it? Because the last time you did have actual sex was a big deal for you. It was a big emotional issue, and it was a lot of concern for you. And there's a reason you haven't had penetrative sex in a year and a half.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm always insecure that once I have sex with a guy, he's going to be fucking done with me. And he's going to ghost me, and I'm never going to talk to him again. And it was all for nothing, and the hurt behind that.
Sure.
But I think what Master of None and I have going is really good. And I feel, like I mentioned before, I feel really comfortable around him. And I've opened up a lot sexually because of all the BDSM stuff that we've already done, that I feel so comfortable around him that having penetrative sex with him, I don't think changed a lot for me. Which I know.
Imagine that. Who might have suggested that a while ago?
Well, he's already stared like straight into my asshole. He's seen more of my asshole than I've seen, So I'm like, I mean, what else is? He thinks the beast, I guess. I don't know.
Right, which is precisely the point that I was making. So I'm glad to hear that it actually ended up being true.
Yeah, but I will say too, because I haven't had penetrative sex in so long, I'm not used to orgasming or having an orgasm through penetrative sex. So sure. I'm really used to oral or fingering. That's it. So us actually having sex, I was like, I don't know if it's gonna be the same. It's just obviously it's different. So I didn't necessarily come from that. I came from other things, but that's something that over time I think it's like working those muscles all
that, and I mean, orgasms from penetrative sex for women is not something that happens a lot for a lot of women, and it's just part of the whole foreplay and afterplay and everything. That penetrative sex gets you close, and then you still continue to fool around, and then you come as well. So I mean, and you might get there, but if you don't, it's no big deal either. It's also just enjoying the actual act of intercourse too.
Yeah. Well, and then I actually felt like because we were having sex, he's gonna get off now, because it's not an insecurity thing, but I always want to make sure that he's enjoying it too. And I just think and I hate that I think this way, but it's like Sarah 3, Master of None 0,
Right.
And I'm like, I want him to experience an orgasm and come too, and I feel bad because prior to him, I think I would just be like, okay, let's suck your dick and then we'll have sex and then whatever. But I haven't been able to do some of those other foreplay things because I think a lot of the attention has been on me, and I don't want to lose sight of focusing on him, which I've in the past 2 weeks now, I feel like I've focused less on him and it's been a lot more on me. And I feel somewhat guilty because of that too. And I know that he doesn't think like I'm in the wrong for not giving him enough attention, but it's every time that we fool around, I think, oh, I should be just, I think he comes over, he eats me out, and then he's like, oh, I gotta go. And I'm like, I didn't do anything to him. Like, I kind of feel bad. Like, I don't want to think I'm using him just for these orgasms, but.
No, yeah. But, and that's, I mean, he's making the choice that he doesn't, he doesn't, because he knows he would reciprocate with head if he wanted it. He knows he would reciprocate with something else. And a lot of times you can get a lot of enjoyment in making someone else come. Like, making someone else come can be just enough for a lot of people too. And and I think that's important to remember. And the other thing to keep remember is half the time for women, more than half the time for women in relationships with men, they're not coming during sex or anything anyways. Like they're left to their own devices all the time. And have plenty of men who don't feel the slightest bit guilty about it. I saw something on Reddit or something. It was a text from a guy saying that he just like didn't understand lesbian sex. Cause he's like, I don't understand. Like, how do you know like when you're done? Cause like, with normal sex, like you're done when the guy comes, but like, how do you know when, yeah, I know.
You're done with the guy comes.
I know.
Oh
and I was like,
God.
oh my God, that is somebody who's never going to get laid again in his entire life.
Oh, that's sad.
But it's also very indicative of how a lot of people think sex should be like, and so the fact that you're he's taking care of you first is also probably because he knows. And like that's why, like, for me it's always important to focus on foreplay and trying to at least get who I'm with off to a degree, even or a couple times hopefully before we have sex, because it's easy for me. And I've said that before, like, it's not going to take me long. Give me a couple minutes and I'm done. Like, I'd rather like spend the time on you, and then if we don't get to me, well, that's okay. Once again, just give me a couple minutes alone and I'll be done. Like, it really doesn't matter. So it's it's good that he wants to focus on you.
Yeah, no, it's true. And I mean, I came before we actually had penetrative sex, and we waited some time, and then I was like, I wasn't able to get there, but in my mind I'd already had an amazing orgasm. So right. and then I was super happy that he came, and then we cuddled and everything was fine after. So I was cool with that. Yeah. I will say, and it's so funny that we're talking about hygiene and body hair, because before he came over yesterday, I realized I needed to shave like my legs, and I've let myself go a little bit. I haven't shaved my armpits, and I just kind of want to clean up a little bit.
Sure.
And as I was shaving yesterday, the side of my razor, and this, sorry if you don't like blood and shit, you can fast forward through all this.
You're gonna miss the second half of the episode part of it too.
True.
if you're squeamish, I don't know. But anyways.
But the side part of the razor, like the little plastic piece, broke off. So I was shaving like my thigh and it broke off, but I didn't really notice it. And it didn't hurt really at all. So I was like, oh, okay. Just maybe a small nick or something, but not anything major. So then I went to shave my armpit, and there's extra, like there's the side part right there and whatever. So I went to shave my armpit, and that exposed side of the razor that didn't have the plastic piece just fucking sliced the side of my arm. And I was standing in the shower. I was like, this is how I die. I was like, I'm fucking bleeding. I was like holding onto my arm, literally just holding onto my arm socket. Like, this is not great. And he's coming over in an hour and I can't fucking lift my arm. And how the fuck are we going to have sex? What positions could I possibly do now? Because I can't move my fucking arm. So when he came over, I was like, okay, I haven't bandaged my arm yet. And he was looking at it because I texted him saying, fuck my life. And I like put an alcohol wipe on it and screamed because it hurt so fucking bad. And then he was trying to be really careful. Like, as we were making out, I wanted to put my arms around him. I was like, oh, I can't do that right now. I got one arm, and of course I'm left-handed, and of course it was my left armpit that I hurt too. So I'm like, well, I have to be very careful of how everything I do. And it was funny because we were in doggy style, and just my arms being like, just moving my arm up a little bit, we were fucking, and I was just like, we got to stop this position. My arm's in pain. So it actually complicated sex too. So
Yeah, see, if you had just left your armpits a little hairy, you would have been fine.
I know.
And he wouldn't have cared.
I know. I'm just happy that I didn't nick the shit out of my vagina and I didn't have like a terrible cut there. So silver lining, but it did make sex a little harder, I will say. But especially
do you shave your toe hairs too? Do you have toe hairs?
Yes, I have toe hairs. Yes, I do.
Do you shave those too?
Yep.
Okay. Sorry.
What else? Why do you have to talk about my feet like that? Why do you
I was just I figured you're talking about shaving all the important parts, and I didn't know if you know your feet. We know how precious your feet are too.
My feet are very precious. Actually, funny you should fucking mention. I have been other quarantine things besides BDSM and having sex and breaking some of the rules. I have started an OnlyFans account. And I am selling photos of my feet, and I'm selling dirty socks, and I'm selling worn shoes. And
that's awesome. I love that.
It's super easy, and honestly, they were shoes I was about to throw away. I've been cleaning out my closet, and someone DM'd me on Instagram and asked if they could have my old worn out sandals. I was like, perfect. I was just about to throw these away. So I mailed them and made some money from it. And then I have socks on my list of things to ship out too. And yeah,
that's so great.
It's a booming business for me. And it's fucking easy. So highly recommend if you have some toes, go sell them hoes.
If you have some toes, go sell them hoes. Is that your new thing?
That's my new catchphrase. So.
Okay. All right.
But yeah.
Are you keeping your account private?
The Instagram account or the OnlyFans?
I mean, I don't know if you want to share with people or not. It's up to I'm not gonna say it, so I didn't know if you wanted to.
I mean, that's fine. Well, I don't have a following on OnlyFans yet. I have some requests for videos people want me to make, but honestly, and if you're new here, I mean, last year I sold photos of my feet. Someone DM'd me on. Okay. The backstory is I wrote a fucking blog. I should explain. I wrote a blog post, I would say 2 years ago, and for a while that blog post ranked on Google. So if you were to type in foot fetish, or I forget what the long tail keyword was, but it would show up on Google as the second or third result. So that page got a lot of traffic on my blog, and obviously I'm not really active on the blog anymore, but since my Instagram's linked on there, a lot of people that found that blog post would then find me on Instagram, like all of the photos that I have showing my feet on Instagram, and then DM me saying, oh, can I buy photos of your feet? And that was last January that started, and now I've got a booming business. I just need to build up my client list, but that's all. Yep. So yeah.
Good. Well, if maybe if you're looking around for foot fetish photos, you'll stumble across Sarah's.
Shoot me a DM, man. I have no shame.
Her secret Instagram and her OnlyFans, all about her feet. I know.
I'll wiggle. My brother, I was telling my brother about it. He was like, I'm going to help you.
Oh, you told him too?
I mean, my brother knows, and his fiance, and obviously my friends know too. But my brother, he's like, this is a great business opportunity. He's like, okay. He's like, there's a market for literally everything. I was like, yeah, no shit, I know. But he was coming up with hashtags. So there's a different hashtag for different days of the week. So I think it was hashtag Toes Tuesday, hashtag Wiggle Wednesday. So it's like, you got to post a wiggle your toes video on Wednesday. Hashtag Feet Pick Friday, hashtag Souls Sunday, hashtag I forget some of the other ones, but he was like brand them, and those will be your signature hashtags on those specific days if you publish that content. And I haven't done that yet, but he was definitely thinking for me, and he's been texting me since I started this lucrative business of mine every week. Have you made any money? What more? He's just interested to see the messages that I've been getting from people and how much money I've made so far. So not that it's like a lot, but it's more than zero.
It could be the event. It could get there. I was the two girls that were over at the pool today, I was telling them about it, and one of them was like, can you help me do something like that? And I was like, yeah. She goes, I don't like my feet though. Can you help me sell dirty panties instead? I was like, yeah, if you want to. I know, but I mean, I was like, yeah, if you want, we can figure out a way to do that. Like, you can sell anything, Yeah,
you really can. I don't know. I used to think, probably before I got into this whole thing a year ago, that it was weird. But I don't find it to be overly sexual or anything. It's just I don't care what you do with my socks. I don't care what you do with my shoes. I don't care what you do with
Right.
my photos. I have never done a video, but I don't care. So they're just feet, and yeah.
Well, that's great. Well,
Cash at me at.
more power to you.
Literally, though, you could DM us at Dating Kinda Sucks on Instagram, or just my personal one, and I'll direct you to my main page if you're interested.
Her secret foot page.
My secret layer of foot pics. But yeah, that sex and foot pics. That's been my life, I guess. So
Well, good. Well, then let's. I guess that's probably a good foot to end things on for this first half of the episode.
So poor.
I know that was poor. That was a good. I don't know.
We're stepping into the next
put
topic.
Put our best foot forward for this first half.
I'm so bad.
We're towing the line. I can't think of any more. So why don't we go ahead and we will take a break, and we're going to go ahead and let Crafty McVillain's song play us out for this first half of the episode, and we'll be back.
Playing again, once again.
Oh yes, of course we are, and we'll be back in a minute with the rest of the episode.
Somebody got laid.
It's Sarah. She got that dick. She wrote it quick. That golden dick. Yo, get it, chick.
Sarah got laid.
Sarah got laid. Okay.
All right, ready?
Yep.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Well, you would have also heard in that ad break that you can find Data Kinda Sucks on TikTok because Sarah decided to join.
We are going to be cool and join
2020.
TikTok.
Yeah, that's right. And except, what happened, Sarah?
We got fucking banned.
Yeah, it took us like
we were too
a day and a half.
inappropriate. Yeah, honestly, we started pushing out content for maybe 48 hours.
40
and
hours.
Then I logged back in and realized, oh, your page violates community guidelines, so you don't exist anymore. So
Yeah, I think we built up like 40 or 50 followers, and
I know. I think we had close to 60 followers, and we had one TikTok that had, which is not a lot in the grand scheme of TikTok, but we had one that was at, I think, almost 31,000 views.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that wasn't the first day that we posted. So I was like, okay, Adam, we should just publish more content because we're killing it. And then we got banned.
We got banned, and we don't know who it was. Here's the thing: is at first I figured it had to be me because the ones that I posted, one had a naked butt in it. Because I was floating in the pool and said, one of the best rules of having a good first date is have a pool. And then like I had a model float back behind me, like naked on a float. All I could see was her butt. She could be wearing a thong, but And then the other one was what boys think periods are like. And it was the model that I was working with had blood on her for a gory photo shoot, and it was me just splashing her with blood, and all of her bits were covered. They were all, she wasn't like, you couldn't tell she was naked. Everything was blurred out on video. So I was like, that had to be me. But then Sarah started investigating the rules, and it might have been Sarah.
I think actually it was, well, okay. So then after our TikTok got deleted, I decided to create my own personal one and literally publish the same content, just minus Adam stuff on my TikTok and see if the same ones that I posted would kind of blow up again. And the condom one that had almost 31,000 views got banned, and I got a message and said this video violates community guidelines. And in the community guidelines, all it says, which that's why I thought it was Adam's stuff, because it showed you're not allowed to do anything that's like pornographic or anything like that. But then mine didn't show anything. It just had a condom and said, my friend has this case and look what's in it. Oh, it's a condom. Literally nothing sexual. I mean, yes, a condom is obviously sexual, but not a naked body or anything, and that violated community guidelines, which is fucking so stupid. So if our TikTok came back, we would just get banned again, to be honest. So yeah, because Sarah wanted to go
and write an email asking them to reinstate it, but we really wouldn't last, because if we couldn't even last, like they didn't even give us a warning. We were so bad that they just banned us outright. So yeah, we're not on TikTok at all, and we never will be. And
Goodbye,
okay.
cool world.
Goodbye, Zennials. You'll never see Dating Kinda Sucks. Goodbye, teenagers. Which is probably, who cares? I don't want them listening anyways.
All right.
So, so anyways, we're not on TikTok. And now we're going to talk about something else that teenagers aren't going to understand, and that is hair growing in weird places.
Yeah, I guess.
Good segue there, right?
Fuck, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You came up with this topic out of the blue. What inspired? It was because when you didn't want him to go down on you because you hadn't shaved in a couple days, right?
Yeah. So Master of None, when he was over, I think the one time he came over, I was ready to go, prepared down there, and then he came over 2 days later, and I had maybe an hour. He was like, "Can I come over?" And it's not like I had really prepped anything. I was working. I was like, "Yeah, you can come over at 5:30." And then I realized I haven't showered since yesterday night, and I haven't cleaned myself up down there. So then he went to go down on me, and I was like, let's just not. And I got really weird about it, which is so fucking stupid, but that was just something that I agreed. I cheated myself out of another orgasm. But yeah, that I just didn't feel comfortable with him going down on me because I wasn't like perfect down there in my eyes. So
right.
Yeah, it was so dumb. But
yeah, so we decided to talk about about hair and maybe and hygiene and what things maybe you should consider, what things you should just not stop caring about and maybe actually don't matter, and everything when you are about to have some sexual interaction with somebody. Mm-hmm. And we did ask our Facebook group to submit some stories, and people could also DM us anonymously if they didn't want to put their name with it. And I thought maybe we would share some of their stories, and then we could get into any stories we have.
Let's share these stories. We have some really
wow
stories.
Thank you
stories.
To our listeners for participating. Like I love when they do. This first one is anonymous. It's someone who had DM'd me anonymously. And he started off, the joys of learning to manscape. I was in my early 20s and I just started manscaping. I'd been using clippers, but one of my girlfriends basically called me a pussy for being afraid of a razor. And another said short hair is worse than unkempt because it's like a Brillo pad. I've got a second date with this girl I want to be with and I want to be prepared. So I take a blade to my nethers for the first time. Everything's going great. I'm handling the tender, loving care of a mother shark. Evidently, as I cut the left side near the shaft, it bleeds for a second. I contemplate the decisions in life, I know, that led me to sitting in my bathroom with a towel wrapped around my bloodstones. But eventually it stops, and between that and a spicy text exchange with my date, I decide it's but a flesh wound and soldier on bravely into the evening. The evening begins and things are glorious. I'm charming and feeling confident. She's funny, beautiful, and looking at me with the anime sparkles in her eyes. This is, of course, where things take a turn. We're at a club dancing, or more accurately, dry humping on the dance floor. We take a break from grinding to get a drink. As we're walking to the bar, I feel a cold wetness on my leg. My initial thought is during the grinding, she left a wet spot on my leg until I feel the drip run down my leg. I look down just as blood spotting is barely starting to show through my jeans. I tell her we need to cut the night short. She agrees excitedly. I don't want to explain what's going on in the club, but as we get in my car, I dash her hopes and dreams like an overworked guidance counselor. That's a good phrase. She asked if we should go to the hospital. I'm 20-something stupid and egotistical, so dying of blood loss in my bathroom is preferable to explaining to a doctor that I cut myself shaving. We get to my place, go to the bathroom, drop my pants, and it looks like a murder scene. She was a champ, though. She went from date to triage nurse in 0.7 seconds. Half a bottle of peroxide, 2 hand towels, and an ice pack later, the bleeding had stopped, and what is now an almost 20-year friendship was forged. And then he says that he would have come to find out later that he had a condition which caused him to be hypertensive. So between the friction and him getting a little excited on the dance floor, he had a hypertensive episode and opened the cut. And then once he realized and had the ensuing anxiety, it sent it to a whole new level, and he was bleeding faster than he could clot. So it was only because she was there that she helped him calm down and actually was able to end this episode. So if she hadn't been there, he could have just, because of hypertension, his blood might not have clotted, and he could have just, yeah. So that was that's shaving gone wrong right there. I know.
Oh yeah, it's just it always gets scary if you shave down there. That's just, I mean, shit. I already cut open my armpit, and I'm like, I don't want to shave for a while, guys.
Right.
I'm done. I can't even imagine the next time he went back to it. I'm like, nah. Well, I think we're good here.
I've nicked my balls when shaving. I've done that, and you don't notice, just a little pull, and then it's just a little bit of blood usually. I feel like to shave balls, like you really need 3 hands. Like you need 2 hands to stretch it like silly putty, and then then your third hand actually shave it once it's like flat. But so it's hard, and I can understand why it might be difficult. I did see somebody say you should always get as cold as you can, because when you get cold, your balls just like retract and they become tighter. They're not like as loose, and so then it's easier to shave. So I don't know if next time I'm gonna
Splash
try
some cold water on your balls before
dip my
you
balls in
shave.
ice and make an ice bath for my
Dip
my
my
nuts.
balls in ice.
Before I shave.
Balls on ice sounds like a great drink.
Balls on ice, yeah. I'll have 2 balls on ice, please. And this poor guy though, like just can you imagine just like going on a date and then you cut yourself so badly that and it's not clotting. That sounds terrifying. So there's one story that I thought was great.
Great. It only gets better from
It
here,
only gets
right?
better from here. Yeah, these are just great. From our list. The next one's also anonymous, and Sarah's going to share this one.
Okay. Let's see here. So I invited this guy back to my place from Tinder, and he seemed nice and clean until things got hot and heavy and the clothes came off. He sported a turtleneck, and I had only ever been with one other God, I cannot read here. He sported a turtleneck. It's always when the line cuts down that I have a trouble with that. Okay. He sported a turtleneck, and I had only been with one other non-circumcised guy before. When I went to stroke him, the skin went back, and there was a shit ton of white gunk, aka schmegma. Oh, God. Total mood killer. I almost gagged and threw up. Of course, I stopped and told him I was done. He said it was normal and offered to wash himself up for me. That was it. I was done.
Yes. How lovely. How lovely.
Oh, God.
Right? I know.
Yeah.
Did you kind of puke a little bit when you
I just don't like even the word schmegma.
Yeah, I know. So it usually it's not a serious thing, smegma. It's one of those things, like it happens with men and women, obviously, but it's it can happen in multiple places. But typically, what I think, and my understanding of it, is that it's usually when things are not properly cleaned.
Yeah.
Healthline says how to treat smegma in males. The simplest way to remove smegma is to adjust your personal hygiene routine, which means clean your dick. That's what that means, basically.
Clean your dick.
Clean your dick properly.
Please.
Just I mean, and there are sometimes like
I cannot even imagine like trying to give a guy a hand job and like pulling it back and seeing that. I would be done.
How about the guy saying it was normal? Oh no, it's normal that there's all this buildup of stuff that I haven't cleaned my dick well enough.
I feel like that is such a typical fucking douchebag guy response to that. Instead of being okay, to be honest, if I was not, say for example, because this has happened before, you wipe with really fucking shitty toilet paper and there's like a piece of leftover toilet paper around that area, and then I've had a guy be like, and kind of take it off. And I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh my God, it seems like I just don't fucking clean myself down there. I'm so sorry. Let me stop what I'm doing and go to the bathroom really quick just to double check everything. I think that would have been a better response if he would have done something like that of, oh sorry. Because you never know, you're on a date and then you go back to their place and then, whatever. It's not, you didn't properly wash yourself right before getting into bed. Not all the time. So,
yeah.
But still,
this isn't a matter of getting a piece of toilet paper stuck because you happen to go to the bathroom at some point from when you cleaned yourself. This is someone who didn't clean the dick.
Clean your dick.
Clean your dick. That's it. That's really that's we had another one, Kathy. This one's it's kind of about it is about hygiene in hair, but Kathy says that she has a roll-on anti-hair solution that she puts on after getting waxed. One morning, getting ready for work, she reached for it and rolled it on. After a few seconds, something didn't feel right. She looked at the bottle, and the icy hot roll-on bottle is almost the same size, and that's what she put on.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So her crotch was on fire. She says, I tried wiping it off, and then I tried to jump in the shower, but that only made it worse. For the first 3 hours of work, you could have melted candles next to my vagina. Which is just fantastic. Which I think I've told this. I know I've told this story, because how could I not have told the story over almost 100 episodes and us talking for hours and hours about all types of things. that there was a time that I had read that if you put icy hot on your balls, that it'll make you shoot it'll make you come across the room, like it'll.
What
Yeah,
the fuck?
it'll make you.
No,
like,
you've never said this.
I've never told you. I've never told this. So
you put icy hot on your balls?
Well, I was married at the time too, and I was just like, I want to make my cum just never done it like it does in porn. Like I want to make it shoot across the room. Like
there's a reason for that. What
I
are you
want
trying to do?
I want to poke an eye. Yeah, basically. So I was like, so let me try. So I have some time.
It's like the Mentos and Diet Coke. Let's see if it shoots out, guys.
Basically. So I was in the shower, and we didn't have any icy hot in the house, but we had Vicks Vapor Rub, and I'm like, that's the same shit, basically. Like I'm sure it's the same fucking thing. So I take a scoop of it, and I just smear it liberally all over my balls. And it tingles, but that's about it. And I'm nothing. So I'm like, oh, I guess I have to jerk off and see if this does. So I start jerking off. Didn't wash my hand well enough. So in jerking off, I get Vicks Vapor Rub in my urethra.
Oh my
god!
Because
Good. And it goes right down the fucking urethra. And I am literally in so much pain. I'm curled up on the floor of the shower, just being like, oh god! I just crying for my mom. No one's home because I have the house to myself at this point. And so and then I'm just like, I have the shower head and I'm just like pouring it on my dick, trying to get it in the urethra, like in the dick hole, just trying to clear out the area, and just trying to get it as clean as possible. And it burned for so long. It was terrible. And then the first time I peed too, it hurt so bad. Oh, it was fucking awful. So yeah.
What have you learned?
That next time I do that, I want to try washing my hands before I jerk off to see if it works. Because I haven't had the inner fortitude to try it again, but I will someday. Someday I will find out.
If my cum can shoot
if I can poke someone's eye out with my jizz. So yeah. So that was.
Wait,
that was
how
terrible.
many years ago was that? Because you
10
clearly
years ago?
you haven't tried in 10 years.
I haven't tried since. I think
the streak going there.
It
Please.
was like 2009. I wrote a blog post about it, so I think it was like 2009, maybe 2010. Yeah, around that period. And I definitely need to. I should. It's one of those things I should try. Maybe I'll put that on my to-do list during quarantine.
Please fucking don't. Oh my god. If you're gonna do it, at least do it with icy hot.
Get the right stuff. Yeah, they not use Vicks Vapor. I mean, I feel like those are the same with ingredients. Probably. I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
No idea. Yeah.
But
obviously, you were trying to do a fucking science experiment and about killed yourself.
Well, here's the other thing too. Is that was so painful. Just like the Vicks Vapor going down my urethra. That I don't know if I sent you videos about this. There's a type of porn called sounding.
No,
okay.
You have not.
Okay, so someday I will send you this.
Oh jeez, send me porn clips.
The thing people do is when they put sounding rods down their urethra.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they get off from the sensation.
What does a sounding rod look like?
It's think of like a long metal straw, maybe not necessarily metal. It can be silicone, it can be whatever.
Fuck, doesn't that hurt putting that down?
Apparently, they get off on it. They enjoy it, and it's a cool sensation because.
I'm sorry, don't yuck another person's yum, but I'm just shocked right now. The other story. Okay, go on.
I think because it puts pressure on the same nerves that when you jerk off, that actually feels good. It's just on the inside, basically. So it's putting pressure on the same areas. But so I've seen videos of people doing that and then jerking off. And the problem is that you start to lose sensation. So they have to go bigger and bigger and bigger in order to get sensation. Oh, yeah, it's terrible. And I'm just I'm thinking to myself, all I did was get a drop of Vicks Vapor Rub down there, and that was the most painful thing I've ever felt in my life. I can't imagine deciding to stick a fucking straw down there. Like, what the? No, thank you.
Well, that's like if you have to get a catheter.
Right, that's where they're going to put the catheter.
That's supposed to be fucking really painful for men.
Yeah.
Really fucking painful. And those things are, I imagine they're probably the same size.
Yes.
So
do we have any nurses out there? Have you ever had a male patient who's got turned on when you give him a catheter? I wonder if some guy's like, oh, this is my shit. Oh yeah, you slide that tube down my urethra. I wonder if there's ever been.
Most people would be in pain. But
I'm saying there's got to be at least someone who some guys get off on this.
I had no idea that this is news to me. I had no idea that was a thing. This has nothing to do with body hair. Wow, we just took a real weird science experiment turn on this. I did not expect to go there. Jesus.
You never know what we're going to talk about here.
Do not try those things at home. I just don't think that's safe. That just does not sound safe to me. The Vicks Vapor Rub or that. So
So in Kathy's case, she got them mixed up. So you have to make sure you keep your bottles in separate places. You don't want to accidentally mix them up, which I can understand that.
Oh, okay. Next
yeah.
one. Jackie.
Yes.
Let's move on here. Jackie. Yeah. Well, in quarantine, I decided to do my own Brazilian because things were getting out of hand and I didn't want to shave. I was only able to do half before I gave up. I successfully did the other half a week later, though.
I thought that was funny, and I in the group I commented and I said, "So do you look like the Will Forte from Last Man on Earth, where he shaved half of his head and face, and the right half had a full head of hair and a full beard, and the left half had nothing?" And she said, "No, it looked like more like me, where bald on top and then a beard on the bottom." So she did a Brazilian in a weird way. I guess I would have thought you go side to side, you go like around the outside.
Yeah, the Brazil, it's just like a Brazilian strip, like right in the middle. So how did she do that?
Well, Brazilians usually completely, it's nothing. In Brazilians, nothing. Like you take everything. You go.
No,
like,
there's different. There's
okay, but like whatever. But either way, like I feel like
say vagina to asshole.
Vagina to asshole all the way around. Yeah,
just rip it off.
Rip it all off. But I figured you would just go around, like around the outside, around the labia, one side and then the other side. So I thought it was a left to right, but I guess she was going top to bottom, which is interesting. Like I know, like I'm trying to like picture. It's been too long since I've seen a vagina. I'm trying to picture what they look like now.
You're having visions of this.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was kind of a funny one. Have you ever tried to wax yourself?
I don't fuck with nair. I don't fuck with waxing. I'm not trying to do any of that. Actually, I mean, waxing. Another thing, so before this whole quarantine thing started, I worked at a spa, and I actually, because they offer eyebrow waxing and leg hair waxing and obviously Brazilians as well, and I was asking them, with that, how bad does it really fucking hurt? And they're like, the estheticians don't necessarily love doing it because it's just your fucking spread eagle right there. They're like, yep, we're all up in your vagina. They're like, and it's not the most pleasant thing to have to just rip that all off. So I've never had a desire to ever get waxed.
You should try it sometime, just for
science.
Just for science.
I mean, I would get a discount at the spa, but I'm not trying to have my coworkers know what everything looks like down there. Like that is just a whole new level of.
You don't want them to stare as deeply into your asshole as Master of None has.
They would have stared way further into the beast than I've ever stared at my own self like that. So I was just like, nah, I'm good. What I will say though, Master of None, another thing with this whole body hair thing, he, and I've never done lasering or anything, but he bought a he bought a laser so he could kind of laser off parts of his facial hair that don't really grow in very well. He just has trouble growing in like a beard or anything. She's like, well, I want to start lasering it off. So he bought this nice-ish laser online. It was
I'm confused by this. They have like handheld like.
It's a handheld laser that he just kind of sticks up against you. It's like a really tiny little thing, and he just kind of holds it and then moves on to the next.
Really?
Yeah. So he was using it because I guess the sides of his the hair on the sides of his face don't grow in very well. So he started with that, and then as it was getting closer to like where it's actually a lot thicker, it hurts a lot more. And he's been talking about how fucking painful it is, and how he's been like rubbing cream on it and trying like different things so it hurts less. But he also used it on his dick. He has some. So
I feel like rule number one is don't point a laser at your dick. Like I feel like that's just like this is a laser. It is a concentrated light that is designed to burn things. Don't point it near your genitals.
He's been calling it laser donging. He's like, he's like, lasering off the dong later. He's like, but it's on my shaft. He's like, there's just a couple hairs, and he said doing it on the shaft actually hurts less than lasering on his face, with like the lidocaine cream that he's rubbed on or whatever. But he's been doing that actually, and he's like, it's going to take probably a month or two to see the results. But he just didn't want like there to be weird hairs on his penis. So
I mean, you're always gonna get like I feel like every time I shave, there's just like that one random like 6-inch hair that just comes out. And I was like, how did I miss that when I was shaving, coming off the side of your shaft? I'm like, what is that? It's like an old man hair that just comes out of nowhere.
That's what he's lasering off. Yeah.
But is it like actual laser hair removal where it doesn't grow back?
I think the hair gets less thick over time.
Because like when you go to do laser hair removal, like as a thing, like after a couple sessions, it's supposed to not grow back. Like it's pretty much gone.
Depending on how thick the hair is, though, it varies based on person to person. But it could not grow back, or it could come back, but it's very light, or it's less thick, or I don't know, or it's completely gone. So. Okay. Or you just need more treatments for it to finally go away, for sure. So
I would be really scared about pointing a laser at my dick. I think.
No. Like he jokes laser donging.
Yeah,
No, I'm good. I'm a good fam. Nope.
Maybe that's a new business, just laser dong, and just call that, and you just for guys to come in and get laser treatment. But I don't know. I've considered getting my balls waxed. I was gonna set up a camera and record my face when it happened. Like I was gonna get it done just for the internet, basically, just so I could.
Fuck Adam.
But I was talking to somebody about it, and she's like, "I'll do it if you want. Yeah, we can set up. We can come in and just set you up, and then
I'll cry.
watch your balls." Oh, that's the whole point, of course, is to watch me be in pain with it. Like that'd be the funny part, is watching me just be in horrible pain as they wax my balls. But she goes, but the one downfall is that, like testicle skin is much thinner than everywhere else. And so there is a risk that if you don't use the right type of wax, or if you let it sit too long, that you'll actually tear the testicles wide open. And that made me decide that maybe I would not do that.
Please,
so
if you're listening right now, guys, don't do that, please.
Yeah. So I might just do my asshole instead, and just to wax that instead, because I figured that's not going to tear. And it'll probably be equally painful and funny.
Is this another quarantine thing that you're gonna do?
No, this is what I'll have to do. I'm gonna have somebody else do it. Like I'm gonna record my face while they do it. But that's it.
You just have someone come over.
Just come over, yeah. All right. If I got any volunteers who are listening that want to come over and wax my asshole, just let me know. You have to supply the wax and the strips, though.
My God! Thanks for that. I just see you just being spread out on your bed, just ass up, actually, I don't know how that's gonna work because the video of your face, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really thought that through.
Clearly, fucking clearly.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on with some of these other stories from our group. We got a couple more here. Okay. This one's from Camilla. She says, let's see. About 6 years ago, I had quickly shaved for a date after getting off of work. Later that weekend, I noticed my abdomen skin felt hot and itchy, but didn't think much of it. It was a hot August, Indian summer weather in the Midwest, after all. By Thursday that week, it hurt, but I figured I had a heat rash. I complained to my boss, and she took me in her office and closed the door to take a look. She gasped and said I needed to go to the ER quick. The ER gasped, too. I had a staph infection, cellulitis that extended up my stomach. They had to remove a giant cyst. Think that weird Dr. Pimple Popper show. I was in the hospital for a few days on antibiotics. I never knew shaving with a razor was such an issue. My doctor later told me if I absolutely must shave my cooter, use the more expensive disposables, make sure the area is dried and cleaned after the shave, and never use the same razor used for legs. So,
what the fuck?
I think that sounds like a case of using a razor too many times, and so it's dull. And when it's dull, it's going to scrape, and when it scrapes, you can get staph infections.
Yeah.
I change my razor blade every time I shave. Like I put in a new one. So.
Really?
Oh yeah, every time. Because I'm usually shaving my head and face and sometimes balls. So I need to, I need to make sure it's all like it's brand new. I don't want to get a dull razor up in there.
True. I think this is a really good reminder for myself because I get really lazy with, I could keep using this for a little bit until I notice that it's kind of dull. But that makes me want to just, here's one for my vagina. Here's the other one for my legs on my armpit and my toes.
Right. I used to have two separate ones. I had one for my head and face, and then one that I used for all the balls and all that whole area. And that one was a Venus Quattro. Because I was like, I figured a lady's razor was going to be better than the men's razor for shaving intimate areas, and it always seemed to work pretty well. But then I just got bored and decided to use the same one for everything.
I only use men's razors. I hate using women's razors.
Why?
I just don't think that they're as good. Actually, I just bought a new razor today since my other one just broke yesterday. And I bought a men's razor. They were the same. Well, some of the women's ones too, they were a little bit more expensive because it has extra moisture or whatever. And I have really good shaving gel. So I was like, I don't need that. And I I don't know. These two razors were basically like the same price, but the men's had it just.
I have that Dollar Shave Club, so I pay $10 a month, and I get new razors sent to me, new blades and everything for my razors every month. So it works out pretty much perfectly. And so it's much easier than going because they're so expensive in the stores, anyways. So, all right, now which one of us can read this next one without gagging? That's going to be the question.
This is long. This is very long.
It is a long one, but
I can never read. I can never honestly read from the computer and talk because it's so far. My screen is so far away in my little eyes. So if you got this, you got this.
Okay, I'm gonna try to do this one.
I'll probably fucking gag. So
yeah, I know. This is the worst one. We save this one for last. This is the worst one from our group. And thanks again for everybody. This one's from Betty May, and she said, in my early days of doing random hookups, back before swiping, I was on an adult dating website. I'd found my next plaything. He seemed experienced and quite adventurous. We'd done cyber sex, flirtatious texting, and agreed to meet. I always met in a public place and took them home. He didn't want to do that, but it was my rule for safety. Instead of meeting in the shopping center, we met at a bench in the car park. I wasn't comfortable, but I was horny, which looking back was a huge red flag. And in the benefit of hindsight, I know he was on some pretty hard drugs.
Oh God.
This is already starting off terrible.
Oh my God.
Okay, here we go. We went back to my place. In the elevator up to my floor, I kissed him. It was like kissing a hobo. He tasted like old eggs with morning breath at 3 p.m. Flag number 2. Oh. We got into my apartment, and because his breath tasted so gross, I ripped his pants off him and went down. As soon as my tongue touched him, I nearly gagged. He tasted of old cum. I can't even stand the fresh stuff. Flag number 3. Sarah's over here like,
wash your dick.
Wash your dick. Old cum. I was in so deep that I had to continue. I was young, alone in my home with a stranger I'd initiated sexual proceedings with. This is before I learned how to take control of my own safety and that I could say no after we started. But looking back for my own safety, I think I would have done the same thing. I had full sex with him.
No!
We started with a 69. First of all, why the fuck would you start with a 69 if you're just trying to get him to come and go home? Like, just don't do that. But I was so grossed out that I couldn't fake a sexy face with him. So that's why she did 69, because she didn't want him to see her unsexy face. Oh. He seemed to want a rim job. He was pushing his butthole up at me while I was going down on him. And in the wiry mess of his ass hair was a piece of toilet paper. Just a small twist, all tangled up in it, pushing at me closer, closer. I ripped away, whacked a condom on him, and fucked him. When he was done, he seemed to want to chat, but I asked him where his pants ended up, and he finally got the hint. I felt so violated at the whole experience. Yeah. And then she said, in contrast, my main fuck buddy at the time would always taste like a normal warm body with washing powder. No matter what time it was, he'd be clean and have fresh jocks on. Up until that point, I hated it, but after that, I really appreciated it. Like, there are so many points that you stop.
I have no words right now. I'm still in shock.
Just like in the middle of the afternoon, he had rotten egg morning breath.
Oh my God.
And then it tasted like old cum.
The breath didn't stop you?
I know. Like
if it was that bad of breath, that didn't
she was horny, apparently. She was horny.
I don't know how fucking horny I would have to be like, okay, cool, I'm totally loving making out with you with this terrible breath of yours.
Yeah, well, that's why I think she decided to go to 69, it sounds like an even worse decision. Overall.
Why slap literally the word slap a condom on him? Why have sex with him then?
I think because she said she was young and she thought that since she initiated, he had the right to finish, basically, which now she knows he didn't. But
right.
Still, that sounds terrible. That sounds absolutely terrible and awful. And God, wash your dick, wash your everything. Like, how hard is it for? I mean, I'm sure there's women out there too, but like, men, how hard is it for you just to be clean? If you're gonna go see a girl and you're like, how hard is it? You might think, oh, I'm clean. No, clean it. Like, you're not clean enough. I promise. Like, if you gotta remember the last time you washed it, then you're not clean enough as well.
Yeah.
But if you've done any activities. If you've been,
if you went to the gym and then you go over to someone's house, please shower. That's also how you spread bacteria and get shit. Right.
Even if you've just been like walking around and stuff, like, like there's a chance, just make sure you're checking everything, like, it's just terrible. It's not hard to make sure you smell yourself either. Like, it's not a hard thing to do. Oh, it's just disgusting.
God, what? I did not expect us to go down this road. I thought we were going to focus more
You
on
thought it
body
was-
hair, and damn, that was just that was something.
Yeah, body hair and hygiene, but I think they kind of go hand in hand too. Body hair and hygiene to a degree.
Yeah. So actually, I've been kind of wondering your thoughts on this. What do you think about women shaving, not shaving down there? Do you have a preference? What are your overall thoughts?
It's one of those things where if it was my if my preference mattered, which it doesn't. Like that's the thing is, if it's something I'm like, well, if I had my choice, but I don't have my choice. Whatever someone wants. I like it when it's shaved or waxed or whatever. Like, you know, I enjoy that better, but I don't care. Like, it's not, at the same time, it's not that it doesn't really matter to me. If someone has like a full on, like, you know, like when you take her panties off, it all of a sudden pops up like a pop-up book, and it's, you know, it's a bush that's like, you know, 6 inches tall. Like, that might be a little overkill. Like, maybe you need take some, you know, weed whacker to that or something. But other than that,
so terrible to say.
What?
Just saying weed whacker. Oh man, I guess I'm triggered from my own experience. Continue. Oh, I'll tell you in a second.
Okay. But like that, I think that in that case, like that would be a little hard, because if you have to like go hunting for things, you know, because there's so much hair, it's not going to be that fun of an experience. But if someone just they don't shave, they have hair, I don't care. Like I've been with girls that just don't shave very often. They trim just a little bit and that's it. And girls who don't even like shave their armpits and stuff, and none of that really bothers me as long as they're clean. Like that's what's important to me.
Right. Yeah.
So what about you?
Yeah. Well, the only reason I'm triggered by the whole weed whacker thing is because
Did you have a bush that popped up like a pop-up book?
No, I didn't. But that was a rumor that spread around high school, and it was really fucking bad. I feel like I've said this before.
I feel like you have now, because now that you say that sounds familiar.
I'm just so triggered by it because this guy broke up with me because I didn't want to have sex with him, and then went around school the next day telling everyone that he broke up with me because I had a hairy vagina. And there were girls saying, you know, they sell razors at the store. Like it was actually pretty fucking terrible. And then
that's terrible. Yeah.
And as a 17-year-old kid who's never had sex with anyone, never really been intimate with anyone, and definitely didn't have that issue, it was so fucking embarrassing that I think now I'm even more self-aware of how much body hair I have down there, because I don't want to be... I don't want that to ever be said about me, because it was just so terrible as a kid.
Of course.
So, of course, like I realize that everyone has different preferences in body hair, but I guess I just always worry about a guy going down on me and say I wasn't, you know, completely shaved, or like there was too much hair. There have been guys who have said, even in like a fucking sex ed class that I took in college, saying I'm not going down on a girl if she has any pubic hair down there, because I'm not trying to get hair stuck in my mouth. And I was like, okay, that's a little fucking insensitive to say, I guess. Like, fuck you for, I don't want to get whatever. But then I'm like, well, I mean,
those are guys who aren't going down on girls anyways.
Yeah, that's probably fair. I think like trimming and just being clean down there in general before you engage in any sexual activity is a good rule of thumb to have. Obviously, how much or how little, that's up to you, but just making sure it's clean.
Right. And I mean, I agree. And I think that's the most important part, as long as it's clean. If I've been with people who, like I said, who don't really shave, that, you know, they trim, or they don't really grow. It doesn't grow very thick. So it's just normal. They have just a normal pubic hair, and it's fine. Like there's no problem with it. And you can enjoy being with them just as much. And as long as they're clean, that's really all you care about. But yeah, and saying someone has a hairy vagina too, you know, the exaggeration that I'm talking about is like, you know, legitimately like a
massive.
Yeah. Like it makes a sound,
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Sound when you take her panties off, you know, just that, you know, just like pops into place like that. That's, you know, that's maybe a little much, but that's, you know, I don't know. But I personally, but when I was married, I didn't shave, I didn't trim, I didn't do anything. Like I was just as hairy in my
trim at all.
And nothing. I did nothing at all, really. It didn't really occur to me that it was anything to do. And it wasn't until I was like getting divorced and realized like, and someone was like, yeah, you know, you should try this, and suggested it. And I was like, so then I tried like trimming, and then I started shaving, and I just shaved everything. And I was like, this feels amazing. Like it feels so much better. And as a guy, like everything feels better when you're shaved, or I mean, I use I
Really?
either shave or I use Veet, like, which is like Nair or whatever. And like when you have
That
like
doesn't
a
burn at all?
no, not at all.
No?
You just, as long as you wash it off before the, like, after like a half hour, and you don't want to leave it on. But it really, like, when it's smooth, it feels so good. Like it really feels incredible, whether you're with someone or by yourself, and they both feel great.
You're just
and,
playing with your balls a lot.
oh, you just play with your balls. You're like, oh yeah, you know. But it really does feel like much better. And so it was one of those things I was like, I'm glad I figured that out. And I think I, wouldn't have done that if I'd been married. I don't know why. I never tried it, and she never suggested it, but we didn't really have sex, so it didn't matter anyways. So yeah.
It's interesting because guys that I've been with, it varies person to person, but overall there's not a whole lot of body hair going on down there. And then recently I dated someone who had it looked like he had never trimmed before ever, and just from being with people previously who were pretty well kept down there, and then seeing something like, it was kind of the what was that?
Yeah, just
that noise when he like whipped out his dick. I was like, oh my god. I felt like I feel so mean for saying this. I felt like I had to kind of search for where his penis was, to be completely honest. There was so much hair. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know. And I hate that it kind of turned me off, but it did, because I had just never, maybe that's insensitive for me to say, but I had never been with a guy who had that much hair that it was so fucking overwhelming for me. And then, yeah, I sucked his dick, and yeah, and I guess that wasn't as big of a deal, but I was very intimidated when I first saw that. I was like, oh my god, like, what am I?
Yeah, it's like running into a snake in the jungle, in the middle of the jungle, basically.
Well, in my mind, shut the fuck up. In my mind, I was like, you couldn't have prepared just a little bit. Like, I'm not saying you have to be fully V'd up or whatever, but even just a little trimmed, and that was just zero self-care down there whatsoever. And I
want to give the balls attention when you're down there, and if they're all hairy, you can't give them as much attention.
I mean, I honestly didn't really want to touch them, and let alone if I could find, to be completely honest, I mean, it was already dark in the room too, but just to touch on it, I was like, oh man, I just feel really not great about this. And that was a conversation I had with one of my friends. I asked her, should I suggest, I feel like a dick if I suggest, hey, next time. And I mean, we stopped seeing one another, so there wasn't ever that conversation after that. But I really felt like if I'm going to do anything else, I want to have that conversation, but I feel like it's rude as fuck for me to say, because everyone has their own body hair preferences. But
right.
I just felt like it was a little out of control, and that was kind of stopping me from going further too, because I just didn't feel comfortable with that.
Well, that's okay.
And that was me, but I mean, I don't know.
That's why I think a little bit of scaping, manscaping, womanscaping, whatever you want to call it, is good down there. Just a little, like, trimming is good. Like, just like you're going to trim the hair on your head, your beard, etc. Maybe trim that a little bit too.
I think if it would have just been a little more well kept, I would have been fine. It's not like I wanted him to completely shave it off or whatever, but that was just my thought of, I was very overwhelmed with that. I'd never seen that before. Like, dead ass, never seen that before.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's good for maybe men to think about that. Especially guys, maybe you've been in a relationship and you're about to be single. Maybe you should think about manscaping. Take a trimmer to it, or take a razor to it. Just be careful. Make sure it's a fresh razor and everything, and be careful with
seriously
as you do it. Or try Veet or one of those things too. So
another thing with body hair, I know maybe this is the earlier 20s of my life. A lot of guys wanted like very clean shaven chests, and that was kind of the look, I guess. They didn't like having chest hair, or they just didn't like the look of it.
Like for themselves?
Yeah, they were like, I don't like having chest hair. I don't like having anything.
That,
yeah. And I dated a couple guys that fucking hated their chest hair, so they shaved it. And I was like, whatever you want to do. But then I realized, because they're constantly shaving their chest hair, cuddling with them was a nightmare. was a nightmare because they would shave, it's not like they shaved their chest hair as often as they shaved their face or whatever. So we would cuddle and I just was always prickled by their chests or
right.
Oh, it was awful. It was like, I get like you're self-conscious, but maybe just trim it. There's nothing wrong with just you don't have to necessarily your hair's your hair. Just trim it a little bit. Or I mean, obviously I was maybe like 20, 21, so I didn't say anything, but I was just always really uncomfortable cuddling with this person because of that.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's grown his chest hair out now and he's less self-conscious about it. But I know that was something he was really worried about. And I was like, look, I don't care if you have chest hair, to be honest. And we kind of really talked about it a little bit. But yeah, he was not like cool with his chest hair.
Men would be worried about that, about chest hair.
Yeah.
I don't know. But interesting. I think, the biggest takeaway from this type of thing is that, like Sarah, not wanting a master nun to go down on her because she hadn't shaved in like 2 days. That's not the end of the world. You don't let those things bother you. Like if you haven't shaved immediately, if it's been a couple days, that's okay. Don't freak out about that because the person you're with doesn't care. They really promise you they're not going to care unless they're an asshole. If they're an asshole, you shouldn't be with them anyways. True. But the biggest thing that you can do, the most important thing that you can do is fucking clean. Stay clean. Like
wash your dick.
Make sure you are hygienic. Make sure that you wouldn't do this to why I don't understand it. Like have some fucking self-awareness and make sure you have proper hygiene.
Yeah. Your body hair is your body hair. So I mean, if you don't want to shave your armpits, if you don't want to shave your legs, that's up to you, but just make sure, you've showered and you're at least good to go down there,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The eccentric, when she and I went out and she didn't shave her legs or anything, and she was blonde. So you really couldn't tell. She's mostly blonde, but she also she trimmed a little bit, but that was really about it. There was no problem. Like it was just as much fun.
Yeah. I just think my whole thing with body hair personally, and it's fine, whatever your preference is, but personally, I think I've just received shame in the past for like, oh my God, I can see your leg hairs, or oh my God, your arm. Like it's been from other people where I don't necessarily care if my armpit hair grows out a couple days, unless like I know I'm gonna wear a tank top or something where they might potentially show. But it's more of the reaction from other people noticing that I'm like, ooh, maybe I should shave then. Which is so terrible, but...
It is. Do it for yourself. Don't do it for anybody else. If somebody shames you, fuck them. That's on them. That's not on you.
Preach.
So, yeah, if you have any other stories that you want to share about your own hair-raising hijinks or hair-raising hijinks, I don't know. I tried to merge hair and hygiene into one.
I can't with you. I want to know if someone's actually lasered their lady parts. Because I know Master of Nuns kind of lasering his shaft and all that, but
I know people personally who they've gone in for
laser really
like laser hair treatment on their vagina. Yeah, they get rid of all their hair.
What about home?
No, they were going in for a service for it.
Okay, gotcha.
They're doing that in their upper thighs, and so like they didn't have to worry about shave. Basically, they just get rid of the hair on there.
Okay.
So,
okay.
But it's interesting. If you do it at home though, I want to know if and if anybody's ever gotten their cum to shoot out like just a fucking cannon with Vicks Vapor Rub or Icy Hot. I want to hear about that. Really, to be honest.
Anyone working in the porn industry, if you could just DM Adam to let him know how you get your cum to fucking go across the room, just let him know. Yeah.
There we go. Just let me know. I need to know. You can email us at with datingkindasuckspodcast@gmail.com, and I look forward to hearing what type of seeing what type of emails we get now. But that's
Jesus Christ. It's gonna be like cum XXX.
Right,
for
exactly.
You. Thanks, Adam. Cool.
But you can also message us on or join our group and talk about it in the Facebook group, and that's at facebook.com/groups/DKS podcast.
You can also give us a 5-star rating review on iTunes and talk about, no, please don't put that in the comment section of a review of how you please don't do that. But if you're enjoying the show, it would really help us out if you guys could give us a review on iTunes as well. If you are on Instagram, not TikTok, you can follow us at Dating Kinda Sucks on there. And if you're a super fan or just a big supporter and want to support further after you've given a rating or review, what should you do, Adam?
you should join our Patreon for as little as $5 a month. You can be one of our sponsors, and you get behind-the-scenes content, extra videos, and all types of cool stuff. And that's at patreon.com/DKS podcast.
So if you get your asshole waxed or whatever, would that video be on Patreon?
That'll probably be a Patreon video. Yes, it will. Not of my asshole itself, just of my face as my asshole gets waxed. Yes.
Great.
I will promise to put that on
Exclusive
Patreon.
content.
It'll be an exclusive content just for Patreon. And of course, if you are listening to this and you want to watch us, you can watch us on YouTube too. And that's at youtube.com/datingkindasucks. You get to see the unedited videos because I am too lazy to actually edit them all together. So I just throw that shit up there.
So when we fuck up, it's still on YouTube.
It's still on YouTube, yeah, because I'd rather show warts and all. And other than that, we will
warts and all.
Warts and all. So you don't show you're not showing just the one good angle. You're showing everything. Is what that is. That's right. And we will be back again. We're doing every 2 weeks right now, but we'll be back in 2 weeks with a brand new episode of Dating Kinda Sucks. And thank you for listening.
Whether you're married or single or poly or ace, or hanging out with swingers back at your place, listen to us as we give no fuck on Tinder and Bumble and plenty of yucks, trying and having no luck, because we all know dating kinda sucks. Sarah and Adam are two of a kind. He says stupid shit and she doesn't mind. They're not doing this show to make any buck. Life as a chicken whose feathers they pluck. Why does it work? Well, here is the crux. They both know dating kinda sucks. Dating kinda sucks.